Hello, everybody. It's Marianne Bailey with the Hip Senior Podcast Book Edition. Today, we're here with Janice Miller. Janice is the author of The Unprepared Widow: Mistakes to Avoid Before a Spouse Dies. Janice, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us. Janice, tell us why you wrote this book. I've read it. It's a great book, everybody. So listen up because you need to know this.
So I wrote this book over Christmas this past year. My husband and I had struggled through, he had some serious health concerns, and that was our focus. And as a result, leading up to his death a year and a month ago, I realized very quickly that there were things we should have talked about and preparations that we could have made that made it very difficult following his death to grieve and handle of all this new life. And so as I complained to my daughter over and over of the things I forgot and things we didn't talk about, she finally just said, "Mom, you ought to write that." And so I sat down over Christmas and that's what I did.
So you wrote a book during Christmas break because you're a teacher, right?
I'm a director at a school, so I work with kids and parents and things like that.
I can think of worse things to do over Christmas break, right?
Yep. Yep.
So what kind of information are they going to get out of this book?
So the book is really designed for not so much for the widow, but for people, grown-ups that live on their own. And it's things that you probably didn't think about, not only what to do if you have a crisis, a medical crisis, but if you're sharing a home with somebody, you're sharing an apartment, you share funds. What are you going to do if something happens to you? Because nobody plans for an accident. And in the middle of those kind of life happening things, then you lose control over what's going to happen to you, who makes those decisions.
Okay. Is it a long book? It couldn't have been too
It's
long, over 3 weeks.
right. No, it is. It's a really short book. It will take a person an hour. It's a very easy read. It's divided into 10 chapters of 10 mistakes that I made. What were the mistakes and what I recommend to people to do, or what I wish I would have done.
I found during reading this book that even if maybe you're like, I've got this covered, but it might make your brain think, okay, I've got this covered, but what if, kind of look towards other things
Yeah.
that you maybe need to take care of and listen before their spouse passes away as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So the ideal person to buy this book is everybody.
Is anybody that has moved out of their mama's home. And honestly, if you're a grown up living with somebody, even if it's a parent, things happen to people of all ages. I went to a widows convention and I cannot tell you how many women in their 20s were there that had already lost a husband. So if you want to have control over your life and decisions that are going to be made, then this is really all about having a conversation with the people in your life.
I think a lot of people tend to avoid conversations like that, especially so the younger ones don't think that anything's ever going to happen to them, right?
Yeah.
And the older ones, like my parents are 87 and 85. And I remember trying to talk to my dad several years ago about what's going to happen when you pass away. What's mom going to do? Where are you going to be buried? Those types of questions were taboo to him. I don't want to talk about it. And it was really frustrating as somebody who was going to have to help take care of things when they would pass away, not having those answers. So hopefully people can learn from this book and get some encouragement and some advice as far as about things to talk about and getting their parents, their loved ones, their children, even your children. You just never know. If your children's old enough to make decisions, what would they want to do?
Yeah, you're right.
And then sometimes my daughter's 25. I'm on her bank accounts, but what if I wasn't? It could be a nightmare trying to sort some of that out for your grown children, even if they're not married, and what to do with that. So I can see where this book would be useful just about everybody.
And it really should be an ongoing conversation, not necessarily something you talk about every week or every month, but I could see where a once a year, hey, mom and dad, husband, best friend, let's just sit down and go over what has anything changed? Did you move, change banks, have investments someplace else? Here's where all my stuff is. Here's where the passwords are. Those kind of things. Because in the middle of those crises, you honestly, that you don't even think about those kinds of conversations.
Right. And there's all kinds of software programs out there now that if you head over to Hit Senior, we've got like partners on there that have software programs that help you keep track of where mom and dad's retirement stuff is and their investments and banking and stuff, or your children's or anybody in your family actually type stuff. So there's solutions out there for everybody, whether they want it pen and paper, whether they want it digitalized, whatever it is. So it's become easier these days to track that kind of stuff. It's just having those hard, difficult conversations.
Yes.
So Janice, if somebody was reading your book, they put your book down, they had one thought about your book, what do you hope that one thought was for them?
My hope is that they would be thinking about their person, whoever that is, and that they would say, you know what, tonight, let's just have that talk. Let's just go ahead, and I don't know what my mom's wishes are. I don't know what my dad's wishes are. They don't know what I want. And let's just have it while everybody's good.
Perfect thought. Okay, everybody, the book is The Unprepared Widow, Mistakes to Avoid Before a Spouse Dies. Author is Janice Miller, very lovely lady here. I've been friends with her. We met on TikTok, so you can follow her on TikTok. Any other social media platforms that you're on?
Instagram. And then I did start a YouTube channel that I'm playing with a little bit.
Okay, so look for Janice Miller, and your TikTok and Instagram handles are?
Mrs. Janice M.
Okay, and so I will put that down below in the description of the YouTube video. Everybody go follow her. Her videos are really cute and fun to listen to as well. But check out her book because it is an easy read and it's conversations that you should be having. Janice, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day.
You too.